let's talk about Mario Kart World. This game, I feel like, has been controversial to say the least. There's been a few positives that have come out of this game, but there's also definitely been some very fair critiques that have come out as well. I really didn't know how to make this video to start out. I wasn't sure if I should make this video. I've been busy with so many other things. I like playing this game, for example, but also, living life. But the more and more information that comes out of this game, and, well, the more updates that Nintendo seems to be adding that keeps messing this game up, I feel like I need to do my part and finally rip the band-aid off. Because regardless of whether side you fall on, whether you really, really like this game or you absolutely hate it, I feel like there's something that people are not talking enough about, and that's something that that's been nagging at the back of my head. And it's that this game is good, but it really feels like it has been held back by the choices of the developers and Nintendo. And I'll go into exactly what I mean by that. So, but first I want to give the game its praises because I think genuinely this game does a lot of things really good. First off, I want to talk about the concept of this game itself. An open world Mario Kart game is something I know a lot of people have been asking for quite some time. And conceptually, this game is really good. I think for my first attempt at a Nintendo Mario Kart open world game, it does a really solid job. I think that some of the atmosphere of the game is really fun. I think that the fact that there's actual traffic everywhere and excuse me, the traffic actually kind of has their own little personalities, even if they are scripted. It does seem it's quite enjoyable to see people messing around with that, and that's just one aspect of it. The the whole open world aspect in general, I think for a first attempt is not it's not a bad attempt by Nintendo. Another one of the pros that I've seen, and I've seen the people sing the praises of this constantly, are the mechanics, which in theory are great. Being able to jump from walls, being able to rail grind, being able to actually have a jump button now instead, like a charge jump. I think that's a really nice addition, and I think that Nintendo should also be praised for that. Other things I feel like they should be praised for are how unique this game is. Again, open world, driving from track to track, very cool, very bold choice, and I appreciate that Nintendo actually tried to go this route. Uh, Visually and from a music standpoint, amazing. This is probably the best Mario Kart game that we've had in those standards. The music is just a compilation of all the different songs that we've had throughout all the different Mario Kart games. Not even just Mario Kart. There's some songs from Odyssey, and I'm sure I haven't even heard all of the music yet. I mean, just when I was listening to when I was playing this game just now, I actually heard Wii's Rainbow Road, a rendition of that, and that sounded great. And obviously, the game looks absolutely amazing. And I mean, there's not really much to say there. Although it only looks amazing when you're playing with one or two people, but we'll get to that when we get to it. Just finishing off some of the pros that I have are the tracks are all really good. I think all the tracks, not the intermission tracks, again, we'll get to that, are solid. I enjoy the actual tracks themselves. I think that some of them can be a bit basic, and I think some of them are also could be tweaked a little bit more. But I mean, it's just seeing the amount of things that people have done with shortcuts and what have you not. I think it's just incredible. And again, because this game looks so amazing, the tracks are also going to look amazing, and they play really good too. And but now we start to dive into some of the problems that I have with this game, and I think that a lot of people are starting to have with this game, and that's how challenging this game can be at times. I mean, like the computers, for example. Now, don't get me wrong. I think that having challenging computers is good. I think it's good to have something to actually strive and try to overcome when it comes to, like, say, getting 3 stars in this game, which, I mean, I have. I haven't done all the mirror mode yet, but it's been really fun and challenging to do only for the Grand Prix. I feel like that the Grand Prix has a really nice balance between of challenge and actually feeling like, oh my god, I'm actually overcoming this. I'm getting better while playing this. The Knockout Tour, on the other hand, again, that's probably my favorite mode to come out of this game so far, to be honest. I love Knockout Tour. I think it's such a unique and fun idea. But I think that the computers in the Knockout Tour and actually trying to get 3 stars in that game and in each of those cups is absolutely brutal. I mean, I've already seen videos of people talking about how no matter what they did, no matter how good they raced, they couldn't get it. It was just been a nightmare for them because they need to get first in every single section, and that across 6 laps of continuous racing, that's really challenging, especially when there's items and obstacles on you. And again, those are okay to overcome, but the computers themselves just feel like they're way more aggressive, which is a good and a bad thing because A, makes the game more challenging if you're just doing local play and you don't want to do online, but B, but it makes it harder because how am I supposed to overcome these challenges if they feel insurmountable? They feel too difficult at times. And I think that maybe that's something that could be tweaked a little more, but honestly, that's the smallest of the issues that this game has. So let's just rip the big band-aid right off immediately. The price of this game. $80 for a Mario Kart game is something that's been heavily debated for, well, ever since the price of this game first got announced. I think people kind of knew deep down that $80 for a Mario Kart game was wrong when Nintendo wouldn't even show the price of the game during the direct. But people have had a lot of time to stew on it for a while. And well, $80 is a hard pill to swallow, and I don't want to harp on this too much because there's way bigger issues to talk about than just this. Because I mean, I'm playing the game right now. I've already committed to the price. I've clearly accepted the price for $80, which it sucks. Don't get me wrong. $80 for a Mario Kart game, a game that's supposed to be for families, for everyone to enjoy, just sits wrong with me. But ultimately, I think eventually the game is worth it just because of the sheer amount of replayability that you get from it. But onto some of the other issues I have with this game. The mechanics are not always consistent. Specifically, I want to call out the drifting, the trying to drift and jump. Whenever you're trying to go around a corner, you want to drift, right? Well, sometimes the game will register you as trying to charge out a jump, and then that completely messes up your drift, and then you crash into a wall, and then you can't recover, and then you lose 5 places, and then you lose a race. Or the reverse happens. Oh, you're trying to get a charged jump to get on a wall to take a really good shortcut. Oh no, you're drifting. Oh, you're crashing into a wall. Oh, you're losing places again. Oh, you've lost the race because the controller thought you were doing something else. And I've had varying amounts of consistency with this. Sometimes it works really well, other times it just doesn't seem to want to work at all, even after you press the button several times. And I don't even mean consistency with just, like, those, too, like, those mechanics. Like, even something as simple as, like, trying to trick off sometimes. You have to click the bumper multiple times, or shake your controller multiple times. But that's not good for when you're trying to, say, stick on a wall, because if you shake your remote too much, then you're going to jump off the wall too early, and then you're going to lose progress. And that's something I've noticed that's really, really irritating. But that could also just be because maybe it's a faulty controller problem, or maybe it's because I haven't gotten good enough this game. I've only got like 50 hours on it, so I probably haven't put enough experience onto it yet that, or it's the point where I'm good enough to do those things, which I can accept, I can admit to that. But something that is absolutely not my problem or any of the player basis problem is the online aspect of this game, which is just, it's just weird. Not having, not having, not being able to pick, just being able to do 3 laps of a race normally is crazy. And, you know, this wouldn't have been such a big topic, especially for today's video, if it weren't for the fact that, like, at the time of this was, like, less than a day ago, less than 24 hours, Nintendo added an update to the game where, surprise, you can no longer do 3 laps of a race anymore if you just pick random. So now there's no way to do 3 laps of a race, and it's all just intermission tracks, which those have been very divisive. For me personally, I'm not really gonna talk about them that much. I mean, what I will say about them is that, I mean, yeah, straight lines kind of annoying, but also some of them are really fun. Sometimes with the computers especially, and having like everyone in a tight pack, it makes you forget that you're driving on a straight line. So it does that well. So I'm kind of leaving that aspect of the game alone for right now. But yeah, online just seems to have gotten, it just seems weird to me that that Nintendo would actively ignore what the fans are saying, and then not only ignore what they're saying, do the complete opposite of what they're asking. Like, they really want you to play this game the way that they intended, and that's gonna be a theme throughout this video. That's going to be a theme throughout this whole critique. Which, moving on from that, we have the free roam. Now, don't get me wrong, it's their first attempt, I get it. They've seen what, like, other racing games with free roam have done, and I understand that they're trying to imitate it a little bit. Totally get it. Having the collectibles on the map only unlock stickers is the single dumbest thing I think I've ever seen in a game. And I might be exaggerating a little bit there, but seriously, you have all these collectibles, and you just get a sticker for it that you can put on your decal, on your car, that nobody's ever gonna really pay attention to except you. Oh, look, I got a sticker for my car. Look, I can choose from thousands of these that I get from doing all these other tasks. That just doesn't make sense. Like, why would you not have things unlockable by doing certain challenges? Then it would actually incentivize people to do the free roam. I mean, I get that completionists, 100% completionists are going to be able to do it, but I mean, I was doing it because I assumed I was going to be able to unlock some, like, new characters or new game mode or something that was hidden in the game, but no, sure enough, it was just stickers. And that really sucks, honestly, because that just feels like another missed opportunity by them. And it just doesn't sit right with me that, again, $80, I really feel like that should have been a given, that more should have been unlockable than just Mirror Mode and just Rainbow Road. I mean, and those aren't even that hard to unlock. It just doesn't feel right. And also free roam. On the subject of free roam, we have Rainbow Road not being able to go on free roam, and that is probably like the biggest problem with free roam right now, is that you can't go on Rainbow Road. There's this a beautiful, amazing track in the sky that is like the most visually appeasing track that we've probably had in the game's history. I mean, or just any like, it looks gorgeous, right? I cannot sing the praises of this Rainbow Road enough. It looks amazing. I love this Rainbow Road. It's too easy. It's very easy, which kind of knocks it down a couple points for me. But it looks incredible. But you can't explore it at all. You can't. You can't look at. You can't look at it in free roam. You can't like drive around and see like any of the driving around space at all. Like that seems like a huge miss to me too. And I cannot believe that wasn't an addition to, again, an $80 game. That's something I'm still gonna harp about a bit, because $80, again, should be included. This stuff should be included. If they said that this game was worth $80, they need to show it, and so far they haven't. And Rainbow Road, again, visually amazing, but mechanically, it's super basic. Like, I get that you're driving from place to place, but if you really, like, stop and look at it, you're just driving, you're taking corners, you're driving, and that's about it. There's no, like, mechanic, there's no, like, real shortcut mechanic or anything, or not at least anything I've seen yet. No, like, big shortcuts like there have been on, like, all these other maps. And it really feels like that the mechanics of this game were wasted because of it. It really feels like that Rainbow Road should be the ultimate test of your skills, but it just doesn't. It doesn't feel like it's testing your skills, or like what you've learned by using all of your these new mechanics. Like, it's just normal driving on Rainbow Road, which kind of sucks. But while we're on the topic of Rainbow Road, versus mode. This one really hurts for me specifically. I don't know about a whole lot of other people, but for me specifically, what I always like to do is I like to go on versus mode. I like to pick hard computers, frantic items, 12 races, all random, so I can just go like race after race after race after race after race. And that's just how I've played Mario Kart for the past couple of years. And yet, imagine my surprise, imagine my shock, when I saw that you couldn't play Rainbow Road on Versus, on that mode, which seems completely baffling to me. It really seems like Nintendo doesn't want you to play Rainbow Road. I mean, that might it's an exaggeration, but I mean, this is the second time now that Rainbow Road just isn't given access to. In fact, the only way I've really seen you having access to Rainbow Road is either by playing the Grand Prix with the Special Cup, or you go on the or you go on versus mode and you actually have to manually pick the map, which again, I mean that's fine, I guess, but why would you not have it in a random mode like every other game? Well, maybe by every other game. I'm mostly pointing to Mario Kart 8. But still, why would you detract from what that game had going into this game? That doesn't make any sense to me. A lot of what they've done doesn't make any sense to me. Oh, I'm running out of points to talk about. I'm sure there's a lot I'm missing, but here comes one of the biggest gripes I have with this game. Probably my second biggest gripe. The split screen option runs really good with one player, runs really good with two players, and then it's hard locked when you start to have three or more players on the split screen. It's hard locked at 30 frames per second. 30 frames per second in 2025 for a $500 console, and they couldn't make the game run smoother with multiple people on the split screen. Now, that sounds, I know it's going to sound completely asinine. I know people aren't going to complain that much about it because, who does co-op anymore? Who does local split screen? I get it. But that's how I play this game, man. I play this game with my family, with my friends, one on one, and sometimes I like to show this game off because I think it's a good game. And it's the same issue I had with Mario Kart 8. That's like the biggest issue I had with Mario Kart 8 actually was that it was 30 frames per second when you had multiple people running, and it's just it's super choppy. So going from the amazing running 60 frames per second game where everything's super smooth and super consistent to the choppy 30 frames per second is extremely jarring, and it doesn't do the game justice, and it's an issue that should have been fixed. That's the biggest, like, I don't understand. How did you not fix an issue like this? And I know people are gonna say, "Oh, Nintendo is a cheap company." I get that, but I still there's some requirements that have got to be reached, man, and they just dropped the ball on that. And that really sucks. I always like with my dad. I always played Mario Kart with him, and I always played Mario Kart with my mom and my little brothers, and with anyone I could, and just having it hard locked on a experience like that on 30 frame per second experience, that just sucks. It really sucks, and it really gets on my nerves. And I know I shouldn't expect much from a Nintendo, but man, I was really hoping this time, especially when they announced in the direct for the Switch 2 in general that select games were going to be running up to 120 frames per second. I was very excited about that, but by certain games running up to 120 frames per second, it meant only the tour game, which you had to buy. You had to buy the manual on how to functionally use this console. Which that only went up to 120 frames, where everything else is at 60. So you can imagine people surprised when that happened. I mean, when I found that out, I was furious with that. I mean, they had advertised for sure. I mean, granted, they didn't say Mario Kart was gonna be able to go up to 120 frames per second, but they implied it for sure. They absolutely implied. And because why would you not have a 120 frame per second Mario Kart game? Especially since it's your frontliner head, it's your top game. It's what you're leading with. But frame rates aside, I just think that's just ridiculous. But here here we come across the biggest gripe with this game, or the biggest question, I should say, that I feel like needs to be asked for this game. Should more have been given for $80? And what I mean by that is just more customization or more things to unlock. And the short answer to that is yes, absolutely. For $80 and for a game that Nintendo has marketed as a new Mario Kart, nothing's ever been done like this before. It's totally amazing. It's gonna blow your mind. It's gonna be worth $80. I just feel like that there should be way more customization going on, and I feel like a lot of the issues that Nintendo is having with this game could be solved is if they had more customization. For example, you could have you could totally have like a classic mode online where you're able to do like you don't have to go from course to course. You could just turn that section. You can just turn that part off, so you don't have to play. You don't have to do the intermission tracks. You could just do 3 laps of a track that you really like, which I know a lot of people would really love. One of the things I think that I was really hoping they would add is a way to like make your own knockout tours, because knockout tour is just it's like a one mode gimmick, which I mean is fine, I guess. And I really like knockout tour. Like I said, I think that might be my favorite addition from this game. But why would you not be able to make your own knockout tours? Like, you know how amazing and how fun it would be to go from like one end of of the map to the complete opposite end, or like a 20-30 minute race. Like, that would be sweet. I would love that. That'd be so much fun. And the game just seems to not want you to do that. It just seems to really be focused on the players making the players play only the way that they want them to play. And that really sucks. Another thing they could add is more secrets to unlock. Having only 2 secrets unlocked, and which you could totally unlock within like the first like day of owning the game if you really grinded for it, just doesn't make any sense. And stickers do not count as unlockables. I'm sorry, but having like a little piece, I've already raved on it, but having a little piece of like paper on your car that people can barely see and people are not going to give a damn about while racing it's just complete. It's insane. It's insane to me. It's completely ludicrous. But there's so many different things that they could have added to this game that they already had in other games. Like, for example, why did you not bring back some of the other modes in the battle games like that we had from Mario Kart 8? Like we have the coin runners, and we had balloon battle, which those are classic. I get that. But what about the Piranha Plant game that we had last time, or the Shine Stars, where you hold the Shine Star the longest and you win? Like those, I mean, why would you not bring those over into this version? Why would you exclude those? That just doesn't make a lot of sense to me. But I mean, to be perfectly honest, a lot of people probably aren't going to play Mario Kart for the Battle World, so it's not that egregious. What's a little more egregious, however, is the lack of customization you have in versus mode in this game. I already mentioned the big one of not being able to customize knockout tours, which I think is a huge miss by Nintendo, but whatever. No, I think one of the other misses that they've had with this is, where's the item toggle? Why can't I turn on or off certain items, or to make them appear more frequently, or make them not appear at all, like we had in Mario Kart 8? Granted, that was, again, an update that was added later, so maybe they'll do that again with this game, but why would you not have that on release when you already had it in this other game? And also, why not have the other modes for that you had with the other game, like shells only, or bombs only, or coins only, or mushrooms only, or no items at all? Like, it just got rid of all of that customization, and that sucks. It really sucks to see that they're backtracking with a lot of this stuff. Mario Kart World is a very good game, but it just feels like that with a lot of the stuff, it took one step forward and 2 steps back. Like, yeah, we did all of these new revolutionary things, but we also took a lot of the things away that fans really liked. And I know that a lot of the things I probably mentioned people don't really care that much about, but they matter to me. And I know that there's some small sect of people that this matters to a lot, too. And it just sucks to see that. And I don't think this video would even be being made if it were a $60 game. I think a lot of it I could excuse, but again, they made the push for $80, and they said that this game is going to be worth $80, and they said, just wait until you play it, it'll prove it to you. But in all honesty, I don't think it has. But don't get me wrong, I think that $80, you will eventually get your value back by playing this game. It'll just take for you to get your value out of playing it. Well, that's like the nice thing about Mario Kart, right? You can play it, and you can get several hours of experience out of it, and it'll be super fun to play, and it'll always be this hectic game. So you'll definitely get your experience out of it. You'll definitely get your money back just by playing it and sinking hundreds of hours into it. But it's not worth $80 just buying it. You don't get $80 of value immediately when you first purchase it, which is a first for this franchise, I think. And that also sucks. And I think that's the big problem with this game, is that Nintendo just really wants you to play this game the way they made it. They don't want you to have like all this customization. They said, look at all this hard work we've put into this game, but only focus on these aspects of it. And you know how they've handled the reactions from the community, that hasn't been great either. I mean, look at just what recently happened. I already touched on it, but making the likelihood of individual tracks when you click random and on online play much less likely when fans were asking for the exact opposite. I mean, that's just crazy, especially when it's such an easy fix too. Just give us a classic mode. And I'm not someone that's played the online version of the game yet. I wanted to get all of the stars on the Grand Prix and the knockout tours before I did that. But man, it just feels like that's just a huge blow to both Nintendo and to this game. I just really wonder how much more people can take before they've just had enough of this company. Because it seems like that they're really dropping the ball on this one after hyping this game up for so long, and they just keep trying to do whatever it takes to kill this game, and that's really sucks. It really does. But it's hard. It's hard to say that because I love this game. I love this community. But I don't know. I'm just rambling at this point. That's all I really wanted to say. I'm sure I'm missing a couple of things, like say the character selection is weird, but you know, that's their choice. That that's basically all I had. Honestly, I just feel disappointed about this game. It's all. I just feel disappointed about how much potential this game had, and Nintendo just held it back from being like a truly amazing game. Like no questions asked, best Mario Kart ever. Because ultimately, that's what they did. This game had the potential to be massively successful. All these different options that you could have chosen from. That's why Mario Kart World is just a good game and not a great game. It's just held back, and that's just unfortunate. All right, well, that's all. That's all I've got. Uh, I'll maybe make videos on this game. I don't know. I might just go back to Mario Kart 8 to be perfectly honest, but we'll see. If you like videos like this, just leave a comment down below, and yeah, that's it. So I'll see you guys in the next video whenever I make it. So bye.